Hi, I'm Joy, and I just joined the 0% Club. What is it? Well, apparently there's a group of avid Tesla drivers and users that I come across on X.com. Some of them are actually my friends. They drive high mileage on their Tesla, and they drive a lot. They frequently drain their battery down to 0% before they go supercharge. If you watch my previous videos, you would know that sometimes, not all the time, I drain my battery down to 3% or the lowest 2%, but I was never, ever able to get it down to 0% because I just somehow didn't have a chance to. But today, which is Sunday, I was coming home from church when my battery was down to single digit before I left church. And I needed to go supercharge. I plugged in the supercharger that I normally go to, which was about 20 miles away, and saw that once I reached that supercharger, my battery would be down to 1%. So I thought, well, why not try to get it down to 0% so I can join this 0% club? I wanted to share this experience with you because not a lot of people have the guts to drive their car down to 0% before they need to charge. Now, although initially the navigation said I would reach that supercharger at 1%, as soon as I got on the road, it went to 2% left. So I had to drain the battery more because I really wanted to experience this 0% club thing. So I drove at high speed, 80 miles per hour. Actually, autopilot did, or FSD did. And then I did a few more launches or harder acceleration. If the car slowed down, I just accelerated a little bit harder. I also turned on the AC to high and set the temperature a little bit higher than normal for my cabin. I also turned on the seat heater. So I got pretty warm by the time I reached the supercharger. And the battery was actually quite stubborn. It took me a while for the calculation in the navigation to go from 2% down to 1%. And I really wanted to get it down to 0%. So I ended up not following the navigation route and took a longer route to the supercharger. So I would drive around a bit more in order for the car to go down to 0% once it reached the supercharger. So I took the next exit off the freeway and then drove back around on Surface Street. More acceleration, and the AC was running at high. So about a quarter of miles away from the supercharger, it finally went down to 0%. So then I happily pulled into the supercharger and commemorated my official 0% club membership. But at the same time, a lot of people responded on my X post since I was telling everyone that I made it to the 0% club, but a lot of people came back saying, oh, this is bad for the battery and it's just not good. You have guts for doing this. And someone asked a very interesting question about how long supercharging took for me to get back to my normal 90% of my weekly charging limit. So here's what happened. When I plugged in my car, because that supercharger was more than half full, it automatically set the charging limit to 80%, and the car said that it would take 35 minutes on a V3 supercharger, which goes up to 250 kilowatt charging speed, 35 minutes to go from 0 to 80%. But as I mentioned, I typically go up to 90% for my weekly usage. So I changed it to 90%. And at the end of the whole charging session, it looks like charging took 40 minutes total. So between that 80% to 90% that I slid the bar up, that took an additional 5 minutes, which is pretty good because, as you know, toward the end of the charging curve, the more full your battery is, the slower the charger will be to not blast your battery with such high current and not as high heat to preserve the chemistry and the substrate of the battery and to make your battery more healthy. And this is all managed by the battery management system, BMS. So from 0% to 90% on a V3 supercharger, it took me 40 minutes to charge up. That's that. Now, people were asking if I was nervous, if the car died. The question is no, because like I said, I've been driving this car for the last 5 years, and in the last year, I don't have any range anxiety anymore, and I often drive down to like below 20% or even single digits before I felt the need or had the time to go charge my car up. So I've gone down, like I mentioned, 2%, 3%, 4%. I just never had a chance for whatever reason go down to 0%. So today was the experiment that I did, and it was successful. So no range anxiety. And even if the car shows 0%, there is still a bit of a reserve in the battery. So what's shown on the screen is actually, I think, about 3 kilowatt hours more than when your battery would go dead. So if you, for whatever reason, do not have time to charge, or you're on a road trip and the superchargers are just far from each other, that you may go down to single digit. Do not fret. Even if it shows 0%, you still have some reserve. And like I said, the battery was so stubborn, it would not go down to like 0% for the longest time. And I ended up driving probably like 20 minutes more just to get the battery down from 1% to 0%, or actually from 2% to 1%, and then from 1% to 0%. So this car is super efficient. Again, no worries at all. And then there are people who would say that going all the way down to 0 is not good for your battery, and supercharging is not good. There's actually a recent study that came out, because now there's so many more Teslas on the road. They now can have meaningful, quantified data on supercharging. And I'll put the link of this article below in the description. Basically, it said that frequent supercharging does not affect the longevity of Tesla batteries, which is what I've confirmed through my 5 years of ownership in the previous video that I shared. And same with people that I know that have driven their Teslas for over 100,000 miles, and they supercharge all the time. Their battery is still really healthy. So this is my little experiment, 0% club. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. It's totally fine. But now I've pushed the limit. I know what my car is capable of. I have no range anxiety whatsoever. So hopefully this video has helped you when you go on road trips and your battery is running low. Don't worry. Even if it goes down to 0, you still have some reserves. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one, and God bless you.